This is probably my 23rd straight convention, and I was excited at my first one. I'm excited at this one. Every convention has its own flavor of excitement.
Well, I'm here to learn more about my union and just experience convention for the first time, understand a bit about convention and what it does for us and our union, and meet some new people.
I ended up, my first place that I was working at, they needed a steward, so I got involved through that just to help out some members, and then ever since I became treasurer, and now I'm here. So just keep getting a little more involved every year.
To me, what's exciting about it is that it's democracy in action. We're a membership-driven union, and democracy is so important to this union that when our members are speaking at convention, they are democratically controlling their union and taking it in the direction they want to go. That's what's exciting about it.
I know that everybody wants a chance to have their say, so I'm hoping that my say helps some people somewhere.
AUPE is a democratic organization, and nowhere is this more clear than at the union's annual convention. At convention, elected delegates, one for every 100 AUPE members, come together from across the province, across all sectors of the union, to set the direction for AUPE for the coming year. For first-time delegates, convention can be overwhelming. This short video will help you understand the history, the process, and more importantly, your role as a delegate on the convention floor.
Sisters and brothers, looking out at Convention Hall, I can feel the energy, the passion, and the commitment that I know that you all have for our great union. You have an important responsibility to make sure AUPE is prepared to move forward and grow stronger.
The only prerequisite to be an AUPE convention delegate is a desire to be more involved in the union. Convention can be daunting with more than 800 people on the floor, but every delegate is there for the same reasons: to represent their co-workers, be more involved in their union, and to learn from and contribute to convention.
I think it's going to be quite the experience. I'm going to learn a lot. I'm going to meet a lot of new people, and hopefully be more familiar with the union itself as a first-time delegate, and also as an employee, you know. Yeah.
The camera crew up here want all the new delegates to please stand. This is part of a video that we're doing to promote AUPE's convention and to show how many new delegates we have in this convention. So smile, you're on camera.
As a new delegate, even if you're feeling a little unsure, get up to the microphone and say what you have to say. AUPE only grows when new activists make their voices heard.
Good morning, Noreen Imeson, Local 54. First time at the mic, so I'm shaking right now.
You'll notice that whenever a new delegate comes to the microphone, they get a big round of applause. That's because everyone wants you to know that your voice matters.
Stand behind us when we have difficulties. So I guess that's a personal driver. Thank you.
Only delegates are able to vote or to speak at the microphone. You will receive a credential in the form of a name tag, which you should wear at all times. This identifies you to the Sergeant-at-Arms as a delegate. When you arrive on convention floor, there are rows of tables at which the delegates sit. The orders in which the locals sit is determined by lottery prior to convention, but all the delegates from a local sit together. At the front of the room, there's a raised platform where the executive committee sits, as well as the AUPE staff who help run convention. The agenda for convention is established well ahead of time, with any special guests or events, but there is flexibility to adapt for current events.
You have in front of you the agenda.
The first order of business for convention delegates is to adopt the agenda, and this allows for any additional changes to be made as needed. Once the agenda is adopted, it is up to the chair to make sure that the proceedings run as close to the agenda as possible. There's lots of business to cover at convention, and it is important that both the delegates and the chair stay on schedule. Before convention, delegates receive the Reports and Resolutions book, which contains all the resolutions that will be presented at convention. Following the agenda allows delegates to know when particular resolutions come up, which will allow them to be prepared to speak on them at the appropriate time. Resolutions must be short, self-contained, and include a defined and measurable action. Resolutions can come from a chapter, local, committee, or provincial executive. Any resolutions presented at convention must first have been debated and passed at a properly constituted meeting of the components submitting them. Resolutions must be submitted to the President's office 120 days prior to convention. Once resolutions are received, they are assigned to the Legislative Committee, which distributes the resolutions to the appropriate standing committee to present at convention. For example, the Anti-Privatization Committee presents resolutions dealing with privatization, even if a local has submitted the resolution. The Legislative Committee presents all constitutional resolutions. The rules of order that AUPE follows at convention and at all component meetings are laid out in Article 30 of the Constitution. With such a large and important gathering as convention, it is important that the rules of order be followed. When a speaker is recognized and begins to speak, a green light will come on at the front of the hall. The speaker has 3 minutes to speak, at which time a red light will come on and the chair will ask them to wrap up their remarks. The 3-minute time limit allows convention to proceed effectively and professionally and works to ensure that all members have the opportunity to speak.
I was impressed with everybody's passion. A lot of people were really into it, and I actually really enjoyed the debates.
I came in with very few expectations. I didn't really have an understanding of what happened during convention.
It's like when we were doing the resolutions, I thought that was very interesting to see people go back and forth and just to see what people had to say and how it got passed or not passed. It was a hands-on experience, so it was good.
If you have something to add to the debate, don't be afraid to get to the mic and say it. Even if you make a procedural error, the people around you will let you know how to correct it.
They do use a little bit of terminology that I had never heard before, so I didn't know what some things meant, and if I didn't, I would just ask. They helped me out quite a bit for that. Makes things, if you don't ask, you're going to be confused for the whole question, right? So, good to know.
The best way to learn is by doing. Your voice is just as important as any other on the convention floor, including that of the president. When a chair calls for a vote, delegates raise their credential cards in the air, either in favor or against the motion on the floor. Delegates vote on reports, resolutions, motions, and the budget. All votes require a majority to pass. General resolutions require a simple majority, 50% plus 1. Constitutional resolutions, which can fundamentally change the operation of the Union, require a 2/3 majority. If the results of a vote are not clear, any member or the chair can call for a standing count. In a standing count, delegates stand to indicate their vote and are counted by the scrutineers committee. A roll call vote may also be called, where each delegate's name is read aloud and they vote yes, no, or abstain on the motion, but these are rare. Delegates also vote during the election for AUPE's Executive Committee. Elections are held in odd-number years every 2 years to choose the President, Executive Secretary-Treasurer, and 6 Vice Presidents. All candidates must be nominated from the floor. Once all the nominations have been made, the nominees are asked to either accept or decline the nomination. Once all nominees have answered, the slate of candidates is filled. In the evening after the nomination process, there is a candidates forum, also known as the Bear Pit. During the forum, delegates have the opportunity to ask the candidates questions about their platforms and their vision for AUPE.
Yeah, it definitely helped to hear what they had to say. There was some new people, and we had a kind of training night a week ago to learn a bit about them, and this helped too because they had to actually answer a little bit tougher questions than we had given them.
Today, after there after the bear pit and the forum, I feel confident and in what my decision's going to be and who I'm going to vote for. Yeah.
The ballots are counted electronically, so the results are available quickly after the vote.
Well, it's kind of a mix of traditional and modern. Our system is a optical scan-based system, so we still have a paper ballot that is fed into the tabulator and dropped into the ballot box. So in essence, it's just like a person taking the ballot and dropping into ballot box, but instead it goes through the ImageCast precinct that we use, and this will tabulate the results automatically for you rather than hand counting and potential for error.
This budget was
The development of AUPE's budget begins in July, with the Executive Secretary-Treasurer looking at the figures and evaluating all the expenses for the coming year. AUPE's budget is presented Saturday morning and is usually the last order of business at convention. If resolutions are passed during convention that have a financial component, those changes must be reflected in the year's coming budget. Having the budget as the last order of business makes this possible. AUPE's financials are open to any member. An audit is conducted every year, and the auditor's report goes to each delegate as part of the convention package and for download from the convention section of the AUPE website for anyone. Convention is hard work for everyone. Days start early, and business can go on late into the evening, especially in election years. On the convention floor, there is a great sense of solidarity. The union encourages you to continue building that solidarity outside the convention floor as well. There is usually an evening function where delegates and other convention guests can socialize. These parts of convention, connecting with others, making new friends, and talking about things that you're experiencing in your work site can be just as valuable as the business that happens on the convention floor. Democracy is about listening to the voices of the membership, and it is essential for AUPE's success. Each year at convention, members work together to improve our union through their resolutions, their questions, and their votes. Our members are our voice, our strength, and our direction. Convention is the time when those voices are the loudest, raised together in strength and solidarity, giving AUPE the strength to overcome whatever challenges the future holds.